Alright boys, welcome back to the channel. It is tactic time. It is low block time. This has taken me ages to get one working, to get one firing. It is all about the low block. I tried a couple of months ago with Chelsea, tried to replicate Tuchel's 3-4-3 that I did so well in the Champions League, in particular the final when they did a low block and they countered and they created so many chances with that. Couldn't get that working. So when I came to start the Crystal Palace save a few months ago, I thought, right, we're going to do a low block and we're going to get it bloody working. And I have managed 3 seasons in. I'm quite happy enough now to get it out to you guys. Download a link down below, so go check it out. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. Just make sure you smash a like on it and let me know how you have got on using a low block. Alright guys, so here we are. It's a 4-4-2 low block now. I've wanted to get a low block going just because everything, I've shared tactics and a lot of my other saves as well. You go on FM Scout, everything is high press, gegenpressing, high line of engagement, and I wanted to do something different, and it's been difficult. It's taken a lot of tweaking, a lot of roles, individual roles and personnel tweaking, but I've managed to get it sorted. So the idea is that obviously we're dropping back. So out of possession, we're going to work in reverse order. Out of possession, lower defensive line, but much lower line of engagement. Now that is key because I just wanted to create a little bit more space in here to counter. We've got pace up front. That's one of the key attributes that I want from my strikers. We're playing 2 up, so I want us to have a little bit more space in behind to attack. They can also then, when the pitch is a little bit more condensed, it should be then harder for the opponents to break down. We're forcing them out wide, so it means that we're getting nice and compact. The 2 strikers helping out the 2 banks of 4, so we should be nice and compact, help us defensively. Get stuck in. It's more of a personal trait. More urgent pressing as well. As soon as it gets into that condensed area, we want to try and get the ball back quickly as possible so then we can break in transition. In transition, when possession is won, we're obviously countering. That's a big factor of it, either dribbling or breaking through the thirds with passes. I haven't put regroup on. I haven't needed to do it. I don't want to see that natural drop off straight away and drop. I think there's always times for players to press the ball when they've lost possession. So I've just left that blank. Obviously, the natural instinct is after there's that initial press from your players and they're trying to get the ball back, your players will naturally sit in to get that 2 banks of 4. But I necessarily didn't want to just drop straight into it and not press. I think it's always good for, especially up front when we're in attacking the third to try and press and get that ball back within maybe the first few seconds of a transition. So that's the reason why I've done that. Distributing to the defenders, to any of the defenders, fullbacks or centre backs. We're not aiming to go long. This low block is slightly different. I think the natural thing is to kind of think of it going long direct play, and we tried that in the first season and we came a little bit unstuck. The ball was just coming back constantly and we're under a little bit too much pressure. So I thought, right, we've got some wonderful technical players, we've got some dribblers. Can we get the ball out to defenders, get them just to play it into the midfield as simple, and then let the midfielders do their work with their creativity, with their ability to dribble with the ball. So that's what I've done for that. In possession, as I said, we've gone away from the direct play. We're going much shorter. The idea is that when we get it and we're in the final third or in the opposition's half, instead of just trying to force it, we take our time a little bit. We pass. Get us the opportunity to stop chasing things, stop defending, make the other team work and get the ball off us. We've managed to create all different types of goals. We've got counter-attacks, we've got possession-based goals, and I think that's definitely come from the passing directness. We still go long, even though we've got passing to space off, we still counter really, really well. Run at defence is key. One of the most key changes that I've made to the tactic over the past 12 months. And then mentality positive. Even though we've got a lower line, when we do get the ball, I want us to spring into action. I don't want us just to sit. The initial phase of defending is deep, but then when we get it, we're positive and we're playing. So we're in a 4-4-2. We've got sweeper keeper on defend, nothing flash. 2 centre halves on defend, nothing flash. Player instructions, take fewer risks. The idea with that is that they keep it simple. They'll play it out to the fullbacks. They'll play maybe a short or a longer safe pass into the 2 wide players. We've got, once again, Mitchell on the left-hand side, wing-backs staying wider, but also taking fewer risks. I want him to keep possession of the ball. And then Nelson Semedo, I've just got him sitting narrower. The idea is because we're playing with a winger in front of him, I don't necessarily need him to get on the overlap. We've got Wilf Zaha as well playing as a presser. He will naturally go in the right channel, so he just kind of sits in. He does help, he does support, he just doesn't get round and get that in. And also it means because we're kind of playing a 4-4-2 with not a real deep sitter, and at the same time with Mitchell maybe going on the overlap, when he goes on the overlap on the left, it maybe just means Semedo shuffles across and makes more of a tighter three, helps us defend a counter-attack a little bit better. Okay, the main key part of this tactic, I think, is this midfield. We started with a deep line playmaker, and what I found is that he was dropping into areas and he was just playing long balls. And a thing that Tonelli likes to do is run with the ball. So I've put it on central midfield, on support. I've made one player instruction tweak, which is hold position. Now, the idea behind that is that he just sits in these areas and he doesn't commit too much. He loves a dribble. He will pick it up in here. He'll break up the play and he will dribble it. But then once he kind of gets into the final third, he'll kind of hold off a little bit. He won't necessarily break into the box. He kind of holds in around sort of like the 25 to 30 yard area and lets the other players go forward. We've got a little bit of a balance on this left-hand side because Mitchell's going round, and then we've got Almeida as an inverted wing on attack. He's helped himself to 14 goals and 10 assists. So good. A counter-attack, ball in the channel, running. In particular, when the two strikers have got it, he's quite good at getting around, maybe a flick on or Thuram getting the ball down. He does counter-attack really quickly, and then he cuts in on his right foot and has scored loads of goals for me. And then Nelson, just an out-and-out winger. I thought that was to help us give us a little bit more width. Balls in the box. He's pacey, he's quick, he's good at dribbling. The idea is that these four midfielders all have the quality not just to play it long and to pass, but to break through the thirds themselves with dribbles. We've got Eze on the bench as well. That's very good at dribbling, can do any of the four roles really for me. Mariba, advanced playmaker. The idea is that he plays and passes, but on attack, you'll see them getting further forward and also dribbling more, taking more risks. Slide passes for the counter-attacks have been really, really good. Obviously, we get a lot of counter-attacks because we're sat quite deep. Now, the strikers are an interesting one. We've done false nines, we've done two presses, we've done a deep line forward, we even tried a target man the first season when we had Benteke. I've just gone for Zaha as a presser, Thuram as an advanced forward. We're keeping two up high. That does really help us when we've broke play up, especially against the bigger side who are maybe pushing both fullbacks on. We're kind of at times left with a 2v2. And what we see is the ball gets played into Zaha or even a ball into Thuram's head. He'll flick it on because he's got the pace. Now, what you need from your players, especially up front, I think is pace and power. Pace and power is the one. Work rate as well is sort of like a third one for me, but pace and power, I think, in terms of strength. Thuram's an absolute beast in terms of his physicals. Pace 16, 6'4". Work rate not great. His attributes, his technicals are pretty good, but yeah, we're looking at pace and power for him. And Zaha's the same. Zaha does well. He's a presser. We're asking him just to do a little bit more defensively for us, but he does go high. He works channels. He often picks up spare balls. So if we're defending at the edge of our area, he'll generally come into these areas and he'll be the first one to pick up a loose ball or a clearance, which is quite good. And then we're countering and we leave them two up. It creates absolute havoc. So midfielders dribbling, look at their dribbling attributes, look at the pace as well. In particular, your right midfielder, you want him to be quick, you want him to be pacey. Dribbling 16 for Nelson, pace 16. He's got himself 10 assists and 6 goals. There is the tactic. There's nothing, in terms of playing instructions, it's just the ones that I've gone through. There's not asking the strikers to do anything else. I have got a right footer on the left. But the thing that I like with Thuram is he likes to cut inside on the left wing. So once he gets into these areas, he'll then cut in onto his right foot, and he scored a fair few goals doing that. Okay, there is the tactic. Download link down below. I'm just going to show you a few very quick highlights. Okay, first highlight, as you can see, we've got our two banks of four, and there's Nelson Semedo sitting quite now. Remember, we had that. There's our midfield four, even though they're both on attack, our two wide players. Kind of not so much getting to make a flat six, but in a nice line of four. And then this is where the magic happens. Good tackle by the defender. Eze's, because of the low block, is in a position And then he just goes long, and because we've got pace and power, 2 up, look, it's pretty much a 2v2 back there. Thuram, pace and power on the left, but cutting in on his right, off the left wing, goal against Liverpool. Really love them kind of goals. We've got our kind of like a low block in there. We've kept 2 quite high there into Thuram and Almeida. Virgil's won the first one, but then pressing forward, Almeida clean through, lovely finish, lovely nice little dribble from Reece Nelson, nice and tight as well. He wasn't stuck too far out wide, he was nice and tight to get that second ball. And then lovely pass through. And then here a little bit of quality. We've got both players going long. There's Eze inside, inverted winger on attack. Lovely finish, lovely counter-attack as well. We really punished the big sides. We've done really well against the big sides. Counter-attacking is not all we can do. We are really good at sometimes at keeping the ball and waiting for a moment. So we've just broke up the play here. Sander Berge playing a central midfielder on support, dribbling with it. Ozan just sitting a little bit deeper. We're keeping it. There's Mariba. Keep. We're passing. Waiting for the right time. Lovely possession football, waiting for an opening, and then Mariba, advanced playmaker, getting in the penalty area. Lovely pullback. You see lots of pullbacks with your wingers getting to the byline. Lots of pullback for central midfielders and fullbacks. Lovely goal. That would have been probably about 20 passes, 30 passes in all. So really chuffed with that one. Here's a 2-0 win against Arsenal. I think what's key here is the amount of players we've got back. Now, there is Nelson Semedo just playing a little bit now and not really getting involved. I think if he was a wing-back on attack, you would see him in these areas. And we're kind of covered there. They're playing with like a deep line forward in Kramaric. 2 centre-halves not really getting involved at all, which is good. Tonelli, there you go, doesn't really get into the penalty area. But everyone else, we've got striker, inverted winger. There's Mariba. There's Eze. Tishkanov would have been probably my right winger. Loads of people in the penalty area and a header at the back stick. So committing bodies forward when we do get it. I think that's the thing. Not to just think that the low block is all about defending. And then here we are. We've just broken the play up. Ball. Then obviously our 4 midfielders are quite narrow. Tishkanov on the right. Just a slide pass, but midfield breaking the play up. It's similar to the goal that we had with Almada against Liverpool. The midfield was quite narrow, so they break play up, easier to get the ball and then counter attack. I think if we were spread out, we'd be able to play around. The wingers tuck in and they're in really good positions in sort of like the half spaces a lot of the time, especially when we're counter attacking. Them players in the half spaces, then their drive either with a pass or with a dribble has been really good on the counter attack. All right, that is it. Thank you very much for watching. Go and plug it in. See how it does with a really good team. I think if you've got, I'm thinking like a Man United with the pace of Sancho out on the right and Rashford on the left. Players like Pogba, Bruno Fernandes in the middle as Fernandes as an advanced playmaker on attack. Pogba as centre midfielder on spot. I think that would work. And then obviously the pace up front. Very, very important. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Go check it out. Tactics links down below. Smash a like. See you later. Thank you.